Happy Saturday. Out here for a workout today. If you notice, things look a little different today because today we're cycling. Say it with me, kids. Cycling. Good job. Okay, so a little bit of an intro to my bike before I get into it. This is my Felt. It's a triathlon, or sometimes called a time trial bike. It's different because, one, a big giveaway is these aero bars. And that is so when we get in, we get all crouched down and get aerodynamic, because in a triathlon, you're not allowed to draft. It's all on your own power, no help from anybody else. So in triathlons, you're not allowed to get more than a few bike lengths behind somebody. And those aero bars help you get crouched down so the air moves around you a little better. And another not so obvious giveaway is the angle of the seat post. It's a little bit more forward. On a road bike, it might be a little more back. But on a tri bike or a time trial bike, it's a little more forward. And that is meant to aid with keeping muscle groups for cycling kind of separated from the muscle groups that you use for running. Because in a triathlon, we swim, then we bike, then we run. And it's hard to run after you're on a bike, especially if you're not used to it or if you just really went after it on the bike. And so what I'm...
see you.
What's that?
I cannot tell if you are there.
Making fun of my outfit. Funny guy. Okay, so that's my tri bike. Something cool that I like is this little container right here. It holds 40 ounces of fluid, and it has a little tube that comes up, so I don't even have to get up out of aero position to drink out of it. There's my cleats buckled into, well, my cleats buckled into the pedals. That's so you can not just push on the way down, but you can also pull with the other leg on the way up. Helps you get a little more power out of each stroke. And I've got them buckled in there or clipped in because today's just like any other day. It's a training day, and I like to practice I think it's called a flying takeoff. In triathlons, you're transitioning from swim to bike to run, and you're still on the clock when you transfer or you transition from bike to run or from swim to bike. So any little bit you can do to save time in transition helps. And the flying start helps you get on the bike without having to run in your cleats. It also ruins your cleats. But it helps you get on the bike a little quicker, and then you can just grab a hold of your cleats and slip your foot in down the road once you get going. So I'm going to put the phone in my little case and see if I can talk while riding, but paying attention, hands-free. And just give me a second here. And here we go. Okay. So sorry if I drip a little sweat. So what I'm doing today is called a brick workout. Thank you. It's called a brick workout. You start off on the bike, go for a while, and then you switch over to running. You run for a little bit. It helps a lot with triathlons because, like I said before, it's really hard to bike and then run unless you're used to it. And this is a good way to get used to it. Just by repetition. I don't know why it's called a brick. I don't know if brick is a clever combination of bike and run, the words, or if it's got some special deep meaning about it's brick by brick you're building your, I don't know. Anyway, that's what they're called, so I just go with it. Today, I'll be biking about 60 miles. I've gone 15 already. Santos Trail is 15 miles long, and I go from one end to the other and back twice. So that'll be 60 miles. And then after I do that, as long as everything's feeling fine, I'm gonna do about a 13-mile run, a half marathon. And I'll apologize now if the wind is too bad. So if the wind's bad, I'm sorry. Bear with me. So anyway, that's a brick workout. So by the end of the day, I'll be doing 73. Yeah, about a 73-mile brick workout, which just happens to be a little bit longer than a half Ironman. So with the exception of a 1.2 mile swim, doing a half Ironman for funsies today. So that's cool, because that's what my life has become. That noise that you hear, that's going through gears. I'll wait till I slow down. So that sound was going through gears. And when you're out on a bike, at least my goal is to keep the same cadence and the same power output. Cadence is just how fast you pedal, not necessarily how fast you're going. So, me having an engineer brain, the most efficient way to do it is to keep the same amount of power going out of your feet. Let the gears do the work. Sometimes you'll see people out of their seat, or as we in the biz call it, a saddle. If you see someone getting out of their saddle, they're not being very efficient. They're working too hard. The only time people get out of their seat is if they're trying to show off for you, or if they're in spin class. Sorry, just going up a hill. Otherwise, there's no reason to get out of your seat. Or unless your taint falls asleep. That does happen. Whew. So anyway, I like to let the gears do the work, because for a non-professional endurance athlete like myself, it's not about how fast I can go, but how far I can go. And the best way to go really, really far is to stay really, really consistent. Not put your body through too many highs and lows. So anyway, that's what that noise is. And it also doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint to buy a bike that costs about a month's wages just to work too hard. That's what these bikes are for and why they're so expensive, so you don't have to work. Come on, man. Let's see. Pace that I usually keep out on the trail, I try to keep about 17 or 18 miles an hour. That's just a good pace that I've discovered for myself. It's comfortable, but it's also quick enough to get things done and to make me happy about the times that I put up in a triathlon. And I kind of gauge how I feel whenever I'm... Sorry, let me slow down again. When I talked about power output, it's basically how hard you're working, how hard you're making your legs and your heart work. I kind of gauge that by feel. I know when my heart rate's getting a little high. Dadgummit. Hang on. Whee! So, I know how my heart feels around the heart rate that I want, and I know how my legs feel whenever I'm at the right power output. There's ways you can quantify it. The way that it's quantified is in watts, and there's products out there that you can buy. There's pedals. People can buy pedals that have sensors that tell how hard you're pushing on them, and they convert it to a wattage output that you can read on your bike computer. But guess what? All that stuff, it costs money. And only suckers spend money. I don't. I'm cheap. But yeah, those are some basics about cycling. The hardest part for me that I've found is staying disciplined on the bike, because it's really fun to go fast. And it's really easy to get carried away and push yourself too hard. But when you do that, and then when you do that and then get into the bike portion of a triathlon, it feels like you're wearing concrete shoes, and it's really hard. And I would rather work on my discipline on the bike and govern myself than to get off and try to run and immediately start cramping up or walking. Oh, excuse me. And also out here on the trail, it's just a nature trail. There's people that come out here, and you'll know them when you see them. Like right now, I just slowed down to go through a little turn, a slow traffic area. People go too fast. They think they're going to win an award for going up and down the Santos Trail faster than everybody else. You're not. People think they're going too fast to have to worry about throwing away their energy gel packets when they're done with them. You're not going to win anything. Hey. So it's just a nature trail. It's time for training, not racing. So that's another reason I don't go too fast, because it's nice out here. If I wasn't cycling, I'd take the phone out and show you around, but I can do that when I'm running later. So, trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, here's my little drinking tube. How convenient is that? Trying to think of anything else you might find interesting. Can't think of it right now, but if I do, I'll hop back on Facebook Live and tell you about it. But for now, I'm at 18. I've got 42 miles to go. I try not to do math on the weekends, so relish that. So yeah, I got 42 miles to go. It's pretty nice out here. And now that I'm getting into more traffic areas, I'm gonna have to be more careful. People, if you ever come out here, even if you're running, but if you're out here on a bike, you always have to be on the lookout, because there's people that, like I said, they go too fast, they cut around corners and they don't stay to the right, and they're not paying attention to other people. Or there's people that are out here in big Peloton groups that think they're in the Tour de France, and they think everybody's out here, or everybody out here is just going to get out of the way because they're cool, because they're in a Peloton or something. I don't know. But you always have to be careful. Point being, if you come out here on a bike or you're running or something, always be on the lookout for people that are on bikes not being safe because they're out here. I just had to yell at a group on my way out to the turnaround because they were 2 and 3 wide, taking up the whole trail in a pretty windy, twisty, turny area. And if I wasn't paying attention and slowing down, there would have been an accident. So that being said, I'm gonna hop off now and probably talk at you again in a little bit when I'm on my run. And I'll talk to you later. Let me slow down. Okay, bye.